welcome to Ghana 2020. Woo! Hope you guys are cool. This is the next day, the morning after I arrived, and I just wanted to go in detail with you with this entry requirement to Ghana. Guys, it's very exhausting, like really exhausting. So I wanted to just tell you what I went through, what you need to do, some things that could be avoided basically. So I hope this video helps you. I'm just going to go through from top to bottom what I did, what is required, and how I suffered basically. I'm glad to be here, and I mean, before I even continue, I just want to thank God, because if it wasn't for him, this isn't by chance, this isn't by coincidence. So the first thing I'm going to do, guys, I'm just going to tell you what is required from Ghana, and then I'm going to tell you what I did. Right, so so where do we begin? So Ghana border is open. Ghana border is open, guys. So excited. You know, anybody would be excited, but you know, the way I'm usually excited when I'm going to Ghana isn't how I've been excited this time around. It's so draining financially, emotionally, and just everythingly. Do you know what I mean? It's really frustrating. It's very draining. Everything that you need to get together, it is completely, it's insane. It's insane. Guys, excuse my eyebrows and my hair, and I just woke up. You know what? I just woke up. So I was excited. I mean, like, I was excited for the borders to open. And then when it opened and the requirements that came with it, I was deflated, because you know, it's stressful thinking about what is required. All I want to advise you guys is that do not travel if it isn't essential. Seriously, do not, I'm going to repeat, do not travel if it is not essential. To be honest with you, if it's not because of my father's funeral, I probably would have left it till next year or when things have calmed down. But I had to come, and this is what I needed to do. So my advice to you is, do not go through all that stress just to come on vacation. You know, if you have something imperative to do, then go through all the process and come. But what I need to tell you is nitty-gritty info. Yeah, I hope it helps you. So basically, Ghana border opens, the president came to give a speech, and he said that in order for you to travel to Ghana, you have to get, apart from your ticket, you need to get a PCR test. I'm going to put on there what PCR means. PCR test to test that you do not have the COVID virus. On top of that, you need your yellow fever injection. You need your visa. I am stressing on this word visa, right? I'm going to come back to all these. You need visa, and then you need your health record form. You need to fill that in before you enter the country, okay? You need to wear your mask. I'm alone right here on my own, so I'm not wearing a mask right now. So let me tell you my story. Basically what it was, I already had a ticket to come to Ghana, and I got the visa. I got a 3-month visa. Everything was issued, everything was prepared, everything was sorted out. I was just waiting to come to Ghana. This was around Easter time. And then I think it was about 2 days before, the border was shut because Madam Corona decided to come and just ruin everything for everybody. Anyway, so the border was shut, and then I had to just, forget about it, basically. And then the moral of the story is my father passed away. Meantime, the airline was holding my ticket for me. So if I was ready, the borders were open, I can just book, or I can get my refund back, or I can rebook my ticket, or, so I had the options. So I just left it for a while. And then the bad news, I had a really bad news that my father passed away, which was, it's something else. So I had to rebook my ticket. Meanwhile, I've been waiting for the president to make a speech. The corona count was going down, and everybody was waiting for him to make a speech. So the speech came, and in the speech he said that for you to travel to Ghana, the border is open, okay? For you to travel to Ghana, you will need to have a ticket, obviously. I had my ticket rebooked because the funeral for my father, I needed to be there, I needed to be there. So I rebooked the ticket for kind of around the funeral date. And I was hoping that the border would be open around that time. So I had the ticket already, so I just needed to change my date, which I did. So now the president has requested for us to have a lot of stuff before we even enter the country, which is ridiculous, okay? Well, I understand, but obviously because the border had just opened, nobody knows what's going on. Nobody knows what they're doing. Government officials, I'm sorry, but nobody knows what they're doing. It's new rules, new entry rules. Everybody's just everywhere. So they say you need to get a visa. If you cast your mind back to what I said before, I already had a visa from March, when it was issued. 3 months, it's expired. So September was the funeral, and I had to come to see my dad, for the funeral. So I was waiting for the embassy to be open. So the embassy, meanwhile, while they were closed, I've been emailing the embassy. What do I do with my expired visa? I've paid for it. There's no way you're going to tell me to redo another one and pay for it. There was no way I was going to do that. So I emailed Ghana embassy, and a woman nicely replied to me and said, we cannot comment at the moment. How can you not comment at the moment? Like, guys, in this video, I'm going to rant, so be prepared for it. How can you not comment at the moment since COVID started, like February, March or so? I mean, it started before that, but the embassy was closed around that time. Other companies, other people knew what was happening, knew what they were doing with the customers, knew what they were doing with certain things, but Ghana embassy could not comment. Even in July, August, you still could not comment what you guys are doing with people's visa, So that pissed me off. So I was emailing them back and forth, because I needed to know what I needed to do. They were not giving me the results. They were not giving me the answer that I needed. There was no answer, basically. So a week before I came, like a week before I was due to come, the embassy was open. You guys, listen carefully. The embassy was open, right? So I emailed this embassy again. This lady actually copy and pasted what was on the website and emailed it back to me. Meanwhile, I have been on the website and I have read whatever was on the website, okay? So I emailed her back and I said, I already know all this. In the email or on the website, it states that you have to send your passport by post because they do not issue in person. You need to send it by post, and then you're going to get it in 2 weeks standard delivery, which is like in 2 weeks. Sometimes it takes longer. I'm going to be frank with you. It takes longer than 2 weeks. So I explained to this lady and I said, I have a funeral to go to. There's no way I can wait more than that. Is there no emergency thing that you can do? Is there no letter you can write to say, you know what, she's paid for the visa. She's just waiting, she's just waiting to go. She's paid for the visa. She then needs the letter, whatever they need to do for me to go to Ghana, and everything this woman was saying was just, I'm sorry, gibberish to my ears, to my eyes, as I was reading. It was just ridiculous because, so I said, do you have any number that I can call and speak to somebody? Because the usual number that you ring, nobody was picking up, right? So I had to wait. So she gave me the number and I spoke to the travel certificate department, like emergency travel in the embassy. And the lady was telling me that for you to gain or get the travel certificate, it costs about £65, about $70, and you'll have to, it takes about 5 days. But that is only given to Ghanaians if you have a Ghana passport, okay? So I said that's not good to me because that's not good to me. So I asked if there's anyone else I can talk to, what I need to do. Another lady, she put me through to somebody else, and that person told me, I had to double check because I thought it was a bit strange. She told me that I needed to come all the way to London where the embassy is. There's 2 embassies, right? One's the headquarters and the other one is the visa section. So I needed to come and try and give the visa. I needed to come and speak to somebody who will interview me, right? So when I got there, guys, I'm still furious from this, right? I woke up so early in the morning. Bear in mind, this is a few days before I traveled, right? I woke up very early, maybe around 2 o'clock in the morning. I left my area, my town. It took me 4 hours to drive to London, right? Went to London and I arrived around 6. I was waiting patiently for this embassy to open, and they opened at 10. I went inside, I explained the situation. Who told you to come here? Nobody here does things like that. Who told you to come here? And I said, your colleague told me to come here because I asked her twice if that information is accurate. She said, yeah. So I drove all the way down to London, and this woman is telling me that they don't do things like that here. They can't just issue a visa. You need to go to the other one, the visa office, and speak to somebody. Okay, so I drove another hour to the other side of town, and there were a lot of people waiting. People angry about visa issues. They actually had people who had appointments to have the passports done. If you don't have an appointment, they're not going to see you, period. And there I turned up and I was asking to speak to somebody, and they were refusing to see me or even listen to what I needed to say. To even listen. This is what angered me. Like, I was in reception with a bunch of people waiting to be seen, a bunch of people who had interviews. There were people that were in the same boat as me. They were saying that they've been calling them, the one is picking up. They've been emailing them. Some people are not even responding to emails. And they also needed to travel. They had funerals and things that they needed to do. Nobody was even replying to any of them, right? So there we were in reception, and the officers, you could see the office. Some were just sitting there filing the nails. Some were just sitting there talking and yabbing. So I took the receptionist and I said, you know what? I can see the officers. You claim they're busy. I can see them standing there. Nothing, looks like they're doing nothing. Can one of them not even come down and listen to what I have to say, to listen to why I'm even here in the first place? Do you know what I mean? I've come all the way from so, drove 4 hours, not slept, almost falling asleep on the road. You know, this is something I needed to do. I needed somebody to listen to me. Nobody. He said, yeah, he spoke to them. Nobody wants to speak to anybody because of Corona. Oh, because of Corona. So I said, you know what? You've got a phone over there. Can you call them so that I can speak to them on the phone? If they're afraid of catching Corona from anybody, can you call them so I can speak to them on the phone? That was another excuse. So these officers refused to come down and speak to somebody to find out or even advise what they could do. Nobody. So the reason why a lot of people were angry was the fact that they took our money, we paid, you issue the visa, this is what we're faced with. You know, emergency travel, you could just write a letter, stamp it and say, you know what, yeah, go to Ghana, pay whatever fees that you need to pay when you get there, you know, or something. Nobody did anything. Nobody did anything. Arguing. I was feeling so frustrated. I was feeling so tired. I was feeling so emotionally drained. And I was about to walk. It's like I was just getting so angry. So I can't believe I spoke to 3 security guards, you know. I spoke to 3 security guards and I asked to go to the toilet, and the toilet is in the office, where the office is. And I tried to get people in there to speak to, and they still told me to go and wait over there and get someone, you know, somebody would come and talk to you. 30 minutes later, nobody came, right? As you can, you know, if it was you would be feeling really frustrated about this. Like, you know, I was feeling so tired, frustrated. And then there was a point where I just got fed up and I was about to walk away because I thought, you know, these people are not going to do anything. I'm just going to be wasting my time, you know. So this was 6-7 hours of being in, you know, at the embassy. I was starting to walk away and I saw some guys dressed in suit and I thought, you know, they look like they work here. Let me just speak to them. I spoke to them. They also said, wait for the officers to come down. You need to speak to the officers, blah, blah, blah. You know, and I was just feeling so, you know, I started walking away and I just burst out in tears. Like, I felt like I wasn't going anywhere. I burst out in tears and the guy called me over and said, you know what, let me have a look at your passport. He went in, came back and said, you need to post it. You need to go back to where you came from, like your house, and you need to post it for them to be able to do it and send it back to you. I am telling this guy, and it seemed like it's not even getting in his head, the fact that I only had 3-4 days before I travel. There is no way that visa is going to arrive before I travel. This guy will not listen. Oh, go post it. They'll do express. Even if I post it, you're not going to get it till the next day. And then you have time. You need to do it, and then you need to post it. Do you not understand what I'm saying? It was not going to arrive before I leave. Go back and post it. This guy kept telling me, go back and post it, go back and post it. You know what? I just left. I left. I drove all the way back. Oh my gosh, I was extremely tired. I was almost like falling asleep. It's only God that held that wheel of the car, like. Sorry. This is emotional. Like, thinking about it hurts. It's only God that held the wheel of the car. I managed to get home and I prayed a lot. I wanted to give up, close to giving up, but I needed to come and see I needed to come and see my dad. Otherwise I regret it. You know, that's what pushed me to not give up. So I just kept praying and praying for signs, people that I thought could help. I spoke to quite a few people, to be honest, that I thought could help, and they didn't really give me anything, you know. So I still didn't give up, and I thought, you know what, just go, just pray and go. Actually, let me go back, because even with the flight, they kept changing. They couldn't decide if they're gonna fly and when they're gonna fly. So my airline kept changing flights all the time. They changed the dates and the times like 10 times, and the last minute they told me, we don't have anything for you. Like, we're not gonna leave till, end of September or something. Meanwhile, the funeral is before that. So I told them, and I said, listen, you guys shouldn't do me like this. I need to be there. Crook or brook, I need to be there. So find me something. So they came back and gave me kind of like an emergency flight with another airline, which I appreciated. I felt like a few days before the flight, everything that could go wrong was just going wrong. Everything was just against me. That's what it felt like. Every time I sorted something out, something else would pop up, and I was feeling so down, like tired. I've not slept for days, I've not been eating, and it was a huge weight on me. It was a huge weight on me. Times I felt like just breaking down. It's really bad. So once again, I'll stress, if it isn't essential, please do not travel. You don't want to go through all that, So anyway, that's the visa. The other thing you need to have is the PCR test, and that test will prove whether you're positive to COVID or you're negative to COVID. But sometimes it can show unclear. Unclear means it's unclear. You need to go and have the test done again. So with this PCR test, you have to have your test within 72 hours before your travel. So what I'll advise you to do, when it hits 72 hours, book your test, go and have it done, because you get the result within 48 hours. Some places they say 3 to 5 days, which is impossible if you travel in 72 hours. Do you know what I mean? The whole thing, I don't think they actually thought about how it's going to work, how it's going to affect people, how the timing of everything. You need to be on around the clock. You need to know what you're doing. So if you book the test, make sure you go at least 72 hours before, have your test done, and get your result. That is imperative. If you don't have the result, you ain't gonna go anywhere. If you don't have the results, they are not letting you on. I'm gonna clarify that. They ain't gonna let you on. So PCR test, it wasn't what I thought. It's a lot of gagging, because you have to go all the way down the tonsils. Where I had it done, they let you do it yourself. So I felt a bit comfortable with that. So you go down your throat, tonsils, and then you have to go up your nose as well. So that was really uncomfortable. I don't like gagging. Yeah, I don't like gagging. So that was, so make sure you get your PCR test done. Make sure you have your yellow fever. Make sure you fill out all your health record forms. Make sure that you get everything that is requested. Do not miss anything out. In the meantime, I was going back and forth with my brother, because he was planning to come as well. So we're trying to remind each other, have you done this? Have you done that? Have you done this? There was a lot of panic. There was a lot of stress. Have we done enough to come? Have we done enough? Have we got enough, documentation to be accepted, to be let on the plane? It's ridiculous, because you're constantly on a thinking mode. So in terms of sanitizers and masks, you have to wear your mask before you step out of your house. Okay, wear your mask before you step out of your house. Have sanitizers with you. That's what I did. I had sanitizers with me. You get to the airport, you have your mask on all the way throughout. You get on the plane, you have your mask on all the way throughout. You land, you have your mask all the way throughout. Mask is unremovable. Bear that in mind. You cannot remove your mask from when you travel, from when you land. It has to be on. You have your hand sanitizers that you need to use as you go along. It sanitizes all over the airport anyway. So I boarded. Everything was checked thoroughly everything has been magnified, guys. When you get to the airport, everything has been checked. Everything has been checked, so you make sure that you have everything with you. I boarded the flight, checked in, boarded the flight, and there wasn't a lot of people traveling. Number one, the plane wasn't full. Number two, and there wasn't a lot of airlines. There wasn't a lot of traffic in the air. So we left pretty early, and arrived early in my transit country. Now, in my transit country, they were even more stricter. I didn't have to wait long, to be honest, to board. I had an hour to wait to transit through. So it got to check-in. Oh my gosh, guys, when it got to check-in in this country specifically, oh my gosh, they were so strict. I don't know how to amplify, or they were strict to the bone. Usually you have your passport, they just scan it through and then you're off you go. But with this one, you have to check your PCR test again. Even though you've been through security, even though you've been through all that and have all that checked, you have to have it checked again. So you need to get your PCR test ready to be double checked for you to get on to the next flight, right? You have to have all that checked, and your visa as well. There were a lot of people who had to be turned down. There were a lot of people who were not able to board the flight because the PCR test kind of expired before they got to the airport. And somebody was trying to explain that, this is why it isn't going to work. Somebody was trying to explain that within that 72 hours of having the test, booking the test and then not getting the result till at least 48 hours after, or 72 hours, it can take longer than 2 days, and then you get your results and then you fly within that 72 hours. You have a day to fly, right? What if you traveling and your transit, you have like a long traveling route before you get to where you're going, and then your test expires? Like, what do? It isn't your fault. But this guy had a situation where they said his test expired because he's been traveling for a day or two to get to where he's going. And because of that, they didn't allow him on the plane, which I thought was really, really bad. They have to rethink this whole thing through and kind of strategize and review what is working, what isn't working, because it's ridiculous. There's a lot of people who miss flights because I don't get it. It's not something that's going to work. So anyway, we got on the flight, and then I was so excited because with all that was going on, I was given a business class. Guys, that wasn't what I booked for. I was doing this business class, and I was like, what? Are you talking to me? Me in business? But you know what? God knew I needed that rest. So I was put in business class. Guys, I enjoyed it. I tried to sleep, but I was already, when you're overtired, overdrained, like over everything. I was unable to sleep. But it was very relaxing anyway. I kind of relaxed myself. Fine. So we got to Ghana. Usually when I come to Ghana, my exciting part of coming to Ghana is when the door is open and the heat, guys. When the door is open and the heat kind of hits your face and you smell the air, like Ghana air. It's a different kind of smell. You smell the air and like everything, you just know you're in Ghana. It's like you get a whole different vibe all together. Some of you relate. Like, it's so exciting, for the door to open. Unfortunately, it wasn't like that for me this time around because all that stress took that away. I was excited to board in the first place. That took a little relief from me. I was a little relieved the fact that I was able to board. But I still wasn't fully relaxed because I was constantly thinking about what will happen in Kutuka International Airport when I land. All these restrictions, because I've heard people have been turned back because they didn't have the PCR tests. Like I said, guys, it's imperative to have your PCR test. If you don't have it, they don't know what you come in with into the country with. They don't know what you have in you. They don't know what you have that you're bringing into the country. So they could easily turn you away. Even though they say that you need to have another test when you land, you have to have a PCR test from your origin country. If you don't have that, bye-bye. I'm telling y'all, bye-bye. I mean, I was told to prepare myself when I enter Kutuka International Airport because the first few days that the border was open, people were just booking flights to come. And some of them didn't really listen to the speech that says you need a PCR test. So they booked the flights and jumped on it and came, and they didn't have to test. They had to be sent back, and there was a lot, because it was the first few days, things were going wrong with the PCR test and, kind of like immigration, getting people in and out, and it was taking longer than usual. So I was prepared to be at the airport, a while. The flight to Accra was delayed 2 hours because there were people that were not able to make it on flight. That delayed the flight for 2 hours. And then there were luggages that were missing. So the flight was delayed for 2 hours before we left. However, this airline is pretty good. It's my first time with this airline. I'm probably going to fly with them again. The service on the flight was, extremely good. So I'll give them that. So now we arrived in Ghana. And arriving in Ghana, my heart was beating so fast. We arrived in Ghana, my heart was beating so fast because I didn't know what I should be expecting, right? So we came off, and I was lucky enough to have a wonderful person who was in immigration who came to kind of like assist me through. So when you land, you come through the airport, right? And there's signs everywhere, social distancing, you have to have your mask on, and then there's staff in every corner to direct you where to go. So the first thing you do when you arrive, you have to go to kind of fill in your health record form electronically. I can't speak, guys. I'm still tired. You have to fill your form electronically. You get me? Electronically. That's it. Oh my goodness. Anyway, you have to have that filled in. Once you do that, that's why you're supposed to fill it in before you travel. And I already did that, so I skipped the queue. So I went through. The next thing you do is go through to where you register your PCR test and you pay. I'm going to put a sign up of the prices. You go and you pay. And funnily enough, I met somebody who, one of my friends who happened to work there. I had no idea. I was like, yo, dude, is this free? I had to try it. I was like, is this test free? But no, I wasn't that privileged. So I didn't get it for free. I paid $150, which was what the price was to get the PCR test in Ghana. Okay, so they put in all your documents and everything. You go into the next. There's always somebody on the next telling you where to go. You go through, you go and have your test done. But in Ghana, they do it for you. It's like cubicles where you sit. They do it for you. You have the swab that you tilt your head back, and they only do it through the nose, and it goes all the way down. It kind of tickles you and slightly hurts at the same time. I don't know, but that's how I felt. And then you kind of wait 30 minutes. To be honest, it was only 30 minutes that I had to wait. I thought it was going to be longer than that. Ghana man time, I thought it was going to be longer than that. So after the test, you go down and you go to where they check that you've had your test done. You go down to another booth, and in that area, they have a booth that has infrared, kind of like a screen, and everybody that is in the queue is being, like, temperature has been taken while you're standing there in the queue, minding your own business, not knowing that temperature has been taken, right? So the machine or whatever it is detects who has a high temperature. You know, I was looking at that, I was like, hey, Presido, this one, why ya dear pa, this is top notch, you know? I've never seen something like that before. It's like, hey, Mr. President, this one you try. Anyway, so this thing basically takes your temperature. So you can be moving around, talking to somebody, you know, it will detect you even from the back. So, sorry, a lot of people driving past thinking, what the heck is she doing? Is she talking to herself? No, I'm recording, you know? Anyway, yeah, so this infrared takes the temperature. If your temperature is high, they're looking for 38 degrees. Mine was 36.3. Because, come on, why would you even take a temperature as soon as you land in Ghana in the heat and then you're taking a temperature of somebody? Do you know what I mean? Like, it was hot. And on top of that, you want to take my temperature? Okay. But mine was 36 degrees. And they're looking for 38 degrees. There is somebody with a manual one. If your temperature is higher than what, you know, they want it to be, they will retake a temperature. Okay. So after that point, you go on to the visa section. There is a visa on arrival section as well. You go through immigration, you check your visa. If you don't have visa or you have expired visa or whatever it is, there is a fee you have to pay. So guys, my dad is costing me money. You know, PCR test I have to pay quite a lot of money. Visa I have to pay quite a lot of money. Visa is also $150 if whether it's expired, whether it's new, whether it's also a lot of money. Initially, a lot of people were crying about the fact that it's $150, and the president is apparently viewing that price. It may go down. So the president currently viewing that price, because a lot of people are saying that what if we are a family of 5, for example? Every single person has to pay $150, which isn't something that you planned for, you know? You've got your ticket, you've got everything else to pay on top of that. PCR test, all that money, family of 5, it's not something that you planned for, and that's a lot of money to just pay for a test. So a lot of people are not very happy about that, and, you know, I believe the president is trying to review that. So anyway, so after you go through immigration, you deal with your visa, you go and collect your bag. This time around, it was very easy for me because my bags pretty much was ready, and there was no queue. People were not there like fighting over, let me get my bag first. So, you know, the bag was just there. I just took my trolley and then I put all my bags on, and then we went to where you collect the test results. And, you know, I wasn't worried about that because I knew I was clear. I've been protected. I've been covering myself. I knew I was clear. So you go, you pass your passport number, you give them your passport number, and then they check, and then they give you a ticket to say it's negative, and then you go out of the door. Somebody will check again before you exit the airport. And I think as soon as I exited the airport, the huge relief that came over me. Guys, I wasn't relieved until I stepped out of the airport. Honestly, I didn't think that I'll make it, but I'm grateful that I was able to make it. I'm grateful that after all that, you know, the lesson that I learned is that do not give up. Times things are going tough, you want to give up, you don't know. That's just a little bit to go, you give up. You don't know what that little bit is going to do for you. You know what? You don't know what God is going to do for you. And that was my testimony, really. I should do a testimony because I have a lot to say about this issue. I should do a story time. But yeah, once again, guys, do not travel if it isn't essential. Do not travel if it isn't essential. Hi back. Yeah, so I hope that helps. I hope that helps. I'm gonna try and, you know, just try and relax now. I have a lot to do, but I'm gonna try and see, you know, I'm in Ghana. The vibe is very different, mixed feelings. Yeah, so just take care of yourself and be vigilant. Yeah, stay blessed. Ciao.